When we wake up in the morning or even during the middle of the night from a dream, it can be really scary because those dreams can actually be nightmares and it just adds to our grief even more. So let's walk together and I'll show you why you feel this way as soon as you wake up. Hey friend, welcome back to Grief Questions Answered. I'm Eric, and it's my goal with these videos to share everything I've learned about how to survive, find support in the loneliness of grief, and how to intentionally get back up and live beyond the loss of a loved one. If this grief tip doesn't help you today, I am confident it can and will help you at some point in the future, so be sure to save this video to watch later on. Today's question comes from Lisa, who asked me, how do I stop the dreams and the nightmares? And so Lisa, I know this part of grief very well. In fact, I remember when we had Zoe's wake. For some reason, I felt like Zoe and I were going to be communicating like two people do in a regular conversation. So I really didn't think about dreams at that point. But then as the weeks went by, the silence was deafening and I didn't hear her voice like I expected to. And so maybe you can relate to that, but it wasn't until about a month later that I had two dreams in one night. And when I woke up from both, I felt so much pain, and I remember those dreams vividly. The first dream started off with me in my bedroom and hearing Zoe's voice in hers. And so it was as if time had turned back, and I rushed into her room and I started crying because she was alive. And I tried to make her realize that we had a second chance and we could prevent her from dying in the first place. But all she said to me was, I can't go back to the former. And I woke up crying because of the reality of her really being dead. And I did manage to fall back to sleep. And then I had another dream where Zoe's older sister and I were walking up to her mom's house, and we knocked on the front door. And her mom answered and welcomed us both in, and Arminda ran upstairs to see Zoe, but her mom wanted to talk with me and sit down. And then I realized I also wanted to see Zoe too, and so I went upstairs to Zoe's room, and there she was. She was happy and healthy, and I grabbed her and I hugged her so tightly, only to wake up to the reality again. And later that day, I was able to speak to my therapist, and after asking her some questions, she told me that Zoe was trying to show me not only why she couldn't stay, as she did in the first dream, but what she needed in order to stay here during the second dream. And I was absolutely floored, but I can say that it helped me put a small piece of the puzzle together as to why Zoe took her life. And so, Lisa, I'm sure it's so very hard for you to wake up and remember and feel those emotions tied to your dreams. But our dreams and even our nightmares are actually serving a purpose. So let me explain a little bit about that. What is happening is that through your sleep, your brain is working to reconsolidate your memories as another means to process your grief. And what's hard about this element of grief is that our dreams trigger real emotions that make it seem like the dream is actually real. And our brains, though, they can't differentiate between real and imagined input. And so our brain is simply taking that input and responding to it with the emotions. And I know that's a very programmatic way of saying it, but another part of the dream that makes them emotionally challenging for us is that we're still heavily connected to our loved one, right? And our bond is so strong that the pain of the dream or nightmare makes us feel like it's happening in real life. And so when we wake up from it, we feel it. Another way our dreams may be hard to contend with is that we have so much unfinished business with our loved one, right? I mean, we're just trying to create another way through our dreams to work through those unresolved feelings that we have around our loss and about our loved one. And so probably one of the most important things, though, is that dreams are actually a reflection of your thoughts and feelings anyway. So when you're grieving, you have your loved one on your mind a lot, and it's common and normal to have dreams and sometimes nightmares. But they will get better as you continue to heal. And so to answer your main question about how to stop the dreams, there may be an additional need to connect with a coach or a counselor to help you process your grief, but doing this throughout the waking hours of the day can really make a difference for when you're sleeping. And by doing this, it'll allow you to consciously process your thoughts so that your brain is less reliant on your dreams for most of that processing, if that makes sense. And if you are currently working with a coach or a counselor, then ask them to dive into the meaning of your dreams so that you have some clues as to what needs attention most right now in your life as you're dealing with your grief. I've had plenty of dreams that were downright scary and painful as well, but this is a normal part of grief. And so you're not doing anything wrong by not processing much about your dreams during the day, because your brain can only do so much processing anyway when you're grieving, right? And so maybe for you, it's probably a matter of time before your dreams and or nightmares stop. And if it's been going on for quite some time and it's not ending, then I would reach out to a counselor or a therapist, because there could be some deeper unresolved issues that need to be addressed and that your dreams are just bringing to the surface for you, okay? I can say that it will most likely get better on its own. And so most of my dreams about Zoe now feel like visits versus any type of nightmare. And when I wake up, I just feel like I love her more and I'm just more connected to her. So as always, I hope this helps. Do you have a question about grief that I can answer for you? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't done so yet, click that subscribe button down below, as this is one of the best ways to get notified of new videos just like this and to show support for our channel. So let's continue to walk together, and I'll see you in next week's video.